those difficult times, the pain you face, the stuff you go through will only help you better understand and better experience what Jesus went through for you. We find that in verses 12 and 13 in 1 Peter chapter 4. He says this, "Beloved, do not be surprised at the fiery ordeal among you, which comes upon you for your testing, as though something strange were happening to you." Don't be surprised when one of these plates are handed to you. Don't be surprised. It might not be good, you might not want it, but don't be surprised by it. Because here in verse 13, "But to the degree that you share the sufferings of Christ." You share in that. You get to experience a little bit of what Jesus went through. So here, you get to do that. So here's what you do in result, or after that. You keep on rejoicing. You keep on being thankful. You keep on praising God. You keep on worshiping God. Whatever happens doesn't push you from God. It draws you closer. We keep on rejoicing so that also at the revelation of His glory you may rejoice with exultation. So when we experience whatever it is, it draws us, it brings us closer to Jesus in what Jesus experienced. Did Jesus not experience this empty plate of pain? Did He not experience His beard being torn from His face and the crown of thorns on His head? The nails put in His arms and feet? Did He not experience a whipping and a lashing that would kill most prisoners? And yet He survived and then ultimately got to the place where He was suffocated on the worst possible execution spot in the world. Did He not experience that? And those that have experienced some sort of pain, some real intense, horrible pain, you know, I know you know, more about that feeling than I do. But that's a blessing. Or exes. Did not Jesus spend 3 years of His life with 12 men? And the moment He needed them the most, they left Him? Did Jesus not, as He was dying on the cross, cry out to God? And the Father said, "I am turning my face from you." A relationship that was together from all eternity. There was never a time when they were not perfectly in connection, in union together. And for that moment, it was gone. Did not Jesus experience this failure? The God coming to earth as a man for the sole purpose of saving the world. He was the Messiah. The Scriptures said everything about it. Here He was. And the people said, "You're not the one. You don't live up to my expectations. You're not good enough." Man, do you think the human nature of Jesus was feeling that rejection, was feeling that failure, that His hometown, His own people didn't even receive Him? And Peter, when Jesus told him, He said, "I'm the Messiah, and I'm going to die, and I'm going to come back to life." And Peter's like, "No, you're not." Jesus experienced this. And then ultimately, every day, right? We're saying we're so thankful for the cross. We're thankful for that method of execution that Jesus experienced. We're thankful for that. And I know, and those that I've talked to this week, that you experience death in a different way than maybe I do. And we all do in different ways. But those that have experienced that, even of a child, you kind of know better of what the Father experienced as He saw His Son dying. Or what Mary experienced as she saw her son dying. Or James, when he saw his brother dying. You know a little better. And so, Peter encourages us that when we experience these things, we just join in that suffering. We have a special fellowship. We have a special relationship. Like the guy who wrote or helped me write the failure section. You experience something, and then you have a better understanding, a better way to share that with others. And so those are just 3 ways that I hope might help us internalize and help us think about how we can be thankful for all things, even these things, and ultimately because of these things.